Have you ever been sitting in endless traffic and thought, man, I really hate this. Why am I doing this every day? I wonder if my life could be different. Or have you ever looked at how much money you're spending on your car every month and thought, wow, what can I do to reduce these costs? Well, if you have, I've got some great news for you. Not only is living car-free possible, but it's a reality for millions of people in Germany. And you could live car-free here too. It's a great way to save money and improve your quality of life. In this video, we're going to look at 10 alternatives to driving in Germany to help you envision what a car-free life looks like. One quick note. Since I live in Berlin, I'm going to focus on the options here. But rest assured, these options are also available in most cities throughout Germany. Okay, los geht's. For short distances, the first and most obvious alternative to driving is of course walking. But for walking to be an option, you have to live in a place where it's safe and easy to walk to everything you need. Well, if you were to live in a downtown in a city like Berlin, it's pretty likely that you'd be able to walk to everything within about 10 minutes. Where I live, I can walk to numerous restaurants, coffee shops, retail stores, bakeries, grocery stores, pharmacies, doctor's offices, hair salons, and so much more in 10 minutes or less. Believe me, this proximity to everything will make a huge difference in your life. If you want to go a little further or get around a little faster, there are many more options available too. The first one is the electric scooter. This revolution in mobility has only been in place in Germany since 2019, but man have they ever had a huge impact. Ever since I moved here 5 years ago, I've seen scooters everywhere. In fact, it quickly got out of hand, with scooters littering the sidewalk so much that it became hard to walk without running into one. So a couple years ago they limited the number of scooters, and that thankfully really helped the problem. Now, I personally don't ride scooters, but I can see the appeal, and I think they're generally a good and useful addition to the city's transportation mix. Incidentally, another option that's available that I also haven't used but seems to be popular is mopeds, or rollers as the Germans call them. Since I don't really use mopeds, I'm not going to say too much about them, but if you're interested in renting one, a good company seems to be Emmy. In addition to Berlin, Emmy currently also operates in Hamburg and Munich. Now, the next alternative to driving that's widely used in Berlin and throughout Germany is one of the greatest inventions ever, the bicycle. According to recent data, about 18% of all commutes in Berlin are done by bike. Just as a comparison, the bike capital of the US, Davis, California, only has a 14% share of bicyclists. And Berlin isn't even really known as a major biking city, even though there are many cyclists here. The bike capital of Germany is Münster, which has nearly 40% of its residents commuting by bike. Now, Germany is no Denmark or Netherlands when it comes to cycling, but a recent study by Yahoo Finance ranked Germany as the 5th best country in the world for cycling. Not too shabby. Anyways, here in Berlin there are lots of options for cyclists. You can, of course, have your own bike, but you can also use bike share services here like Nextbike. I really like the Nextbike bike share system here in Berlin. I like to ride them in big parks like the Tiergarten, and I generally think their bikes are comfortable, sturdy, and very well maintained. You could also use Swapfiets, which is a bike subscription service from the Netherlands that lets you use bikes on a monthly basis. Berlin and many other German cities generally have pretty good biking infrastructure and options, so biking is an excellent alternative to driving. Okay, let's move on to the larger public transportation networks, starting with buses. When I lived in the US, I never rode on buses. Unfortunately, in the US, buses are not usually maintained so well, and they aren't widely used as they are here. So, when I moved to Germany, I was reluctant to ride buses. But when I finally gave them a chance, I have to say I was very pleasantly surprised. The buses here are modern, clean, and many of them are electric, so they aren't noisy. I ride the bus frequently when I just want to get somewhere fast without having to walk far. It's also a great connection between trains and subways, and it goes places that trains don't go.
S-Bahn.
Berlin currently has just under 200 bus lines with more than 3,200 stops, so I recommend you overcome your anti-bus prejudices like I did and give the buses in Germany a try. I think you'll like them too. In Berlin and across Germany, subways are called the U-Bahn or Untergrundbahn, which translates to underground train. The subways are a great way to get around the city really quickly. In just a matter of minutes, you can be in a completely different neighborhood. And they're mostly underground, so you're protected from the elements. The U-Bahn in Berlin has a very extensive network with 9 lines and over 150 kilometers of tracks. And there are 175 U-Bahn stations in Berlin with many unique and interesting designs. Here's a taste of some of the wild station designs here. Yeah, so I take the subway all the time and find it very convenient. My absolute favorite way to travel in Berlin is by streetcar, or tram as many people call it. I just love how you can sit and watch the city go by. Right now, streetcars are only in Northeast and East Berlin. I'm hoping they'll be extended into the rest of Berlin soon. Berlin's streetcar network is actually one of the oldest in the world. It's also the 3rd largest streetcar system in the world. And it's even bigger than the subway system, with 22 lines covering 190 kilometers of track and almost 800 stops. I just think streetcars are really fun to ride, and they're so easy to hop on and off of. I've ridden on many streetcars in my time, and I think Berlin's are some of the best. Streetcars are also very popular throughout German cities. Right now, there are streetcars running in about 60 German cities. So, if you come here to live or just to visit, I really recommend trying them out. The S-Bahn, which is short for Schnellbahn or rapid train, is a light rail system that serves the region in and around Berlin. This system, with 340 kilometers of track, 16 lines, and 168 stations, has been in operation for over 100 years. The S-Bahn is a great way to get around the city, especially when you want to go longer distances. In addition to the lines that cut across the city, the S-Bahn also has a connection to the airport and a circle line called the Ringbahn. This is the S-Bahn Ringbahn train that goes around the downtown of Berlin. These are really nice and new trains that even have air conditioning. Whenever I want to travel farther across the city, I take the S-Bahn. And, like everything else on this list, there are S-Bahn networks across Germany. There are currently 16 S-Bahn systems operating in major cities and regions throughout Germany. As if that wasn't enough transport options for you, I've got 2 more. One of these is the regional train. And there are 2 types of regional trains in Germany. The Regional Bahn, or RB, and the Regional Express, or RE. These trains connect cities and towns throughout Germany. They stop in places where long-distance trains, which we'll talk about next, don't stop. For example, when I recently took a day trip to the beautiful Spreewald area just outside of Berlin, I took a regional train. One thing that's really cool about these trains is that they often stop in the downtowns of smaller German cities. This makes it really easy to hop off the train and explore all kinds of interesting places throughout the country. As you can see, Germany loves its trains. And if you're interested in going even farther distances by train, you can take the ICE. The Intercity Express, or ICE, high-speed train is my favorite way to travel in Germany. I just love to sit comfortably on these trains, reading a good book, and watching the beautiful German countryside go by. I really think this is the best way to travel long distance, much better than driving. Ever since I rode my first high-speed train as a child in France back in the 1980s, I've been hooked. And I'm so happy that I now live in a country that has a real network of high-speed trains. There are currently about 400 high-speed trains operating on 11 lines in Germany. These trains connect all of the major cities in Germany. ICE trains also currently go to Austria, Switzerland, the Czech Republic, the Netherlands, Belgium, and France. And these trains are fast, operating at speeds up to 300 kilometers per hour. This means you can easily take a quick trip or a long weekend to visit neighboring countries and enjoy all they have to offer too. Now, if you live in Germany and you find that sometimes you absolutely need a car, well, there's a solution for that too, and that's car share. Let's say you want to haul some heavy boxes of stuff across town, and they're just too heavy to take any other way than to put them into a car and drive. Lucky for you, there are 3 main car share services available to you in Berlin: 6Share, Miles, and Free to Move. Depending on the service you use, you can rent by minute, by mile, or by hour. These specific services and others are also available throughout Germany. So as you can see, there's really no reason whatsoever to own a car if you live in the downtown of a German city. And one of the greatest benefits of living car-free in Germany is that your costs will be much lower. Of course, there will still be some costs for transport, but with the Deutschland ticket, you can ride buses, streetcars, subways, and local and regional trains to your heart's content. Anyways, if you're interested in learning more about the advantages of living in Germany, be sure to check out my other videos. Okay, that's it for now. I'll talk to you all again soon. Tschüss, bis später!